From the quill and parchment of revolution to the digital pulse of the 21st century, one office has stood as the symbol of American leadership, a beacon of its ideals, and a reflection of its struggles. The Presidency of the United States. Join us as we journey through time, exploring the pivotal moments and enduring legacies of the individuals who have held this nation's highest honor. Our story begins in the crucible of a new nation. Imagine the year 1789. The ink on the Constitution is barely dry. A reluctant hero, a general who wanted nothing more than to return to his farm at Mount Vernon, is called once more to serve his country. George Washington, standing tall amidst the uncertainty, takes the oath of office. With a steady hand, he picks up his quill, not to command an army, but to sign into law the very foundations of our government. Every decision is a precedent, every action a cornerstone. He wasn't just the first president. He was the standard-bearer, navigating the fragile republic through its infancy with wisdom and a profound sense of duty. His leadership forged a path where none existed, proving that a government of the people, by the people for the people, could indeed endure. He warned against political factions and foreign entanglements, his farewell words echoing through the ages as a timeless guide for the nation he helped create. The nation grows, its borders stretching westward, its identity forged in the fires of expansion and debate. The early 19th century sees a procession of leaders: Adams, Jefferson, Madison, each grappling with the meaning of liberty and the challenges of a burgeoning democracy. They were architects and philosophers, expanding the nation's territory with the Louisiana Purchase and defending its sovereignty in the War of 1812. They built the institutions, from the Library of Congress to the military academy at West Point, that would shape the American mind and character for generations. But as the country expanded, so did a dark and divisive shadow: the institution of slavery. The compromises that had held the Union together began to fray. The national conversation grew more heated, the divisions deeper. The very soul of America was at stake. Then comes a figure of humble origins, a man from the frontier, whose lanky frame and thoughtful gaze would become immortalized in the American consciousness. The year is 1861. In a dimly lit room in the White House, the weight of a fracturing nation rests upon the shoulders of Abraham Lincoln. By the flickering gaslight, surrounded by maps and telegraphs spitting out news from the front lines, he drafts the Emancipation Proclamation. This isn't just a political document, it's a moral declaration, a promise of a new birth of freedom. His resolve during the Civil War was the anchor that held the Union fast against the storm. His words at Gettysburg redefined the nation's purpose, reminding all that it was conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Lincoln's presidency was a testament to the idea that in its darkest hour, the nation could find its better angels and preserve the last best hope of Earth. The dawn of the 20th century brings with it the roar of industry and America's emergence onto the world stage. Theodore Roosevelt, a force of nature himself, charges into the presidency with boundless energy. He's the trust buster, the conservationist who protected vast swaths of the American wilderness. For future generations, the statesman who brandished a big stick and projected American power across the globe. He embodied the vigor and optimism of a nation coming into its own, a nation ready to take its place as a global leader. A generation later, that leadership would be tested as never before. The world is plunged into economic despair, the Great Depression casting a long shadow over the American dream. A new voice, calm and reassuring, fills the nation's living rooms. Franklin D. Roosevelt, seated before a radio microphone, speaks not as a distant politician, but as a neighbor. His fireside chats were a lifeline, offering hope and a plan, a New Deal to a people desperate for both. He rallied the nation from fear, and then, as the world descended into the chaos of World War II, he became the commander-in-chief of the arsenal of democracy. FDR's leadership through crisis, his unprecedented 4 terms, reshaped the role of the federal government and established America as the defender of freedom in a world under threat. The post-war era brings a new kind of conflict, the Cold War. The world is divided, living under the specter of nuclear annihilation. In this tense new reality, a young, charismatic leader steps onto the world stage. At a podium with the energy of a new generation, John F. Kennedy inspires a nation To ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. His call to service launches the Peace Corps and propels America toward a new frontier. Space. He challenged Americans to reach for the moon, not because it was easy, but because it was hard. Kennedy's presidency, though tragically cut short, captured the imagination of the world and symbolized a renewed sense of purpose, vigor, and hope for a brighter future. Through the latter half of the 20th century, presidents navigated the turbulence of social change, the complexities of a globalized world, and the end of the Cold War. From Lyndon Johnson's Great Society and the fight for civil rights, to Richard Nixon's historic opening to China, to Ronald Reagan's challenge to tear down this wall, each president left an indelible mark on the nation's trajectory. They presided over moments of triumph and moments of tragedy. From the first steps on the moon to the solemn task of healing a nation in mourning. Now, we stand in the modern era. The Oval Office is no longer just a room in the White House. It is the center of a 24/7 global information network. Today's presidents address the nation not just through radio or a few television networks, but through a vast digital landscape. They face challenges that the founders could scarcely have imagined. Global pandemics, climate change, cyber warfare, and the instantaneous spread of information and misinformation. Yet, for all that has changed, the core of the presidency remains the same. It is an office of immense power and profound responsibility. It is a mirror held up to the American people, reflecting our highest aspirations, our deepest divisions, our greatest strengths, and our most pressing challenges. The story of the presidents is the story of America itself, a continuous, unfolding narrative of struggle, progress, and the enduring quest to form a more perfect union. From the quiet resolve of Washington to the televised addresses of today, the journey continues. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey through American history. If you found this story as fascinating as we do, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more content that explores the past and explains the present. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious.